Hey, it's Jody Taylor of SnackySays.com. Today we are talking about securing your social media. Let's do a little housekeeping first. You may hear some cicadas and some birds, and maybe airplanes. I may pause the video if the airplanes are really loud, or there was someone earlier mowing their lawn or maybe using a chainsaw, undecided. So if the sounds get to be way too much, I may pause it, but hopefully we can do this in one shot. Coffee. Oh, let's get started. So why are we talking about this? For a couple of reasons. This is considered a PSA. This topic has been coming up a lot the last few months. No matter when you're watching this, even if it's a couple of years from now, Google it and I'm sure you'll see that there's like a rash of hacks. I know because I recently Googled it and the cases went back several years. Sometimes it's a simple thing like getting locked out and you haven't been hacked. And so it's top of mind because this has been coming up recently, and I've heard a lot of stories, read some stories in threads and also on the interwebs. So if this ain't your first rodeo, you know that I have been stepping away from social media. I uninstalled it on my phone and I even took off email. So I'm kind of definitely breaking up with my phone. So it's a whole process and it's a journey that I'm on, including taking Alexandra Franzen's, her company, You Can Get It Done, taking her email course, their email course, and taking Leonie Dawson's Marketing Without Social Media course. These two courses, along with some other resources, which you can find on my blog, and I'll also put a link in, I'll put a link down below. They have really affected me and impacted me. And so even though I don't have social media like in my life the way I used to, because for whatever reason the laptop simply is not as addictive in my case, I still need to secure the social media that I do have and the email accounts that I do have. And so those two reasons are why it's been on my mind and why we're talking about it today. So please note, I'm going to say a few things. These are my suggestions based on my experience. If it don't apply, let it fly. You know, keep what resonates with you, and whatever doesn't, just like chuck it. Don't worry about it. This is for you if you haven't updated your social media security settings in forever. This is for you. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you hear this new app or new app at the time called Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. What else? Those are the ones that I can think of. I'm sure there are more. You sign up for it. 2 years go by, 5 years, 10 years. Do you still have the same email address? Do you still have the same phone number? Do you still have the same security protocols in place? Well, you probably still if you haven't changed it, but like, do you remember those passwords? So, yeah, this is for you. I actually have a story I'll tell you later, but I actually had something happen to me today, ironically. So this is not for you if you want to learn how to get live social media customer support. It doesn't seem to exist, probably because we're not customers. Social media is free. Well, we pay with our information and our content, right? But try it. I am happy to be wrong. Please, if you know of a way to get live customer service support, holla at your girl. Right now, as it stands, based on my experience and surfing the web, do people still say that? Surfing the web, the internet, the interwebs. You can't get live supports, like you can't talk to a person on the phone, nor can you do chat. You can email, but you can just imagine if you're locked out of your account or worse, hacked, it's super stressful. I'm just like sighing thinking about it. So to avoid all of that, hopefully my tips will help you out. These are tips that you've heard before. So again, you probably heard before. Think of this as a PSA, like public service announcement. I am just reminding you, putting it back on your radar. So my story from earlier is I got an email. I check my email twice a day for healthy tech habits because, honestly, twice a day is plenty. I check my email and I get an email from a website I haven't been on like in a long time, but I like this website. It is cool. And I remember this website and they're like, hey, your access is going to expire if you don't like log on, just so you know, like in X amount of days. So I go to log on and realize a couple of things. I haven't been on in a while and they want to send me like just want to verify it's you to my phone number. Well, it's my Korean phone number and that phone number no longer, I don't have access to it anymore. And I thought this is exactly what I'm talking about. So we have to try to stay on top of things. Here's the funny thing. I almost didn't get in, but I had to have saved a kind of backup code. I saved it. So I went and found it and put it in, and that's how I got into the website. Thank you for listening to my story time. Okay, so chatbot. What are we talking about today? What are we chatting about? Passwords, current security settings, security updates, and marking your calendar. Number 1, passwords, baby. Make your passwords. My suggestion is, and if you don't want to go by me, Google it, ask around. Hard to guess. So symbols, numbers, letters, lowercase, uppercase, you want to make it long. And I didn't put this in this presentation, but the other thing you want to do is change your passwords. Some apps, and I'm not even thinking of social media apps, but apps in general, or maybe even a website that you belong to will be like, hey, it's been like 30 days, it's been 90 days, change your passwords. I find this especially with apps like online banking. So make it hard to guess, but also change it up. Try not to have the same password forever. So here's an example of a very cute, very trendy password, easy to remember, Plant Mom 2021, or maybe you might think of something, please don't do this, like you live on Carver Street and you put Carver in your password, or you put your birth date in your password. It makes it way too easy to guess, whether that's hackers or someone over your shoulder, which I guess is like a person, not a personal, like someone, like if you've ever been to the ATM pre-pandemic and before times, like that person who's like a little too close, like, hey, back up. All right, so that's a no. What's a yes? A yes would be something like this. This is a totally made up password, but it has numbers, it has lowercase and uppercase, it has symbols, and it's long. Okay, so you want to do something like that. Number 2, check yourself before you, see what I did there? Wreck yourself. So confirm your email addresses and phone numbers associated with your social media accounts. And again, like my experience this morning, it doesn't have to be social media. Like you can do this for all of your website and all of your apps, because the time will come, there will be a website like this morning that I forgot about, but actually do want to have access to. And then lo and behold, you moved, and so the phone number you no longer have access to, you've changed things, and you just forget. So go back and confirm. Check your notification settings, number 2. This is because if someone does log in, if someone, even if it's you, so let's say you're at your sister's house and she lives 2 states over, you log in from her laptop, you should get a notification saying like, hey, somebody just logged in from Kansas. What's up with that? Is this you? If you have your notifications off, you won't get the notification on your phone. If it's an old email address, you're not going to see it because you don't check that email. So if you have, no shade or disrespect, if you have like Yahoo is something I haven't used. If you have like Yahoo, Hotmail, AOL, and you haven't used those accounts since you opened your social media, you don't check that email, take 10-15 minutes, go through your social media accounts and update. Okay, because again, you could be hacked or locked out. And so you want to get your notifications on your phone, on your email. And number 3, your current security settings. So what we were already kind of talking about, but let me give you some options. 2-factor authentication. So this is an app like the Google Authenticator. Your social media app or your website may suggest other authentication apps, but it's basically going to give you a 6-digit code like you see here, password. If you get locked out, Facebook, for example, might text you a 6-digit code. Here's the trick. If you've been hacked or it's an old phone number, you're never going to get that code, and now you're at an impasse because you don't have a way to talk to Facebook instantly or quickly. You have to wait and go through the process and hopefully hear from them through email. Like, this is like super, super important. And I can't stress this enough because there is nothing more stressful. Actually, I don't want to be dramatic, but it is very stressful when you need help and you need information and it's just not available. Okay, so besides using the Authenticator app, you can also use SMS or text, and you'll get a text message with a 6-digit code, and then you just type it in. So some apps may have something like Facebook has something like this, where you can get help from friends. So you pick 3 to 5 friends, and it's like, hey, if I ever get locked out, please verify that I am a real person, that you know me, this is really my account. That's an option. I think it may depend on the social media app, so something to consider or check out, see if it's available. Number 4, mark your calendars. So do periodic check-ins like I should have done, so I wouldn't have gotten that surprise email this morning. It's up to you. It could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly, but do check in. Ask yourself, hey, how often do I visit this website or use this app? Is all my contact information still correct? Is it feasible for me to use an authenticator only? So if you use the Authenticator app, and let's say you're trying to access on your laptop and your phone is dead, well, you're not going to get that 6-digit code till you charge your phone, or your phone is someplace else. So you can have backup codes. So save those backup codes someplace safe, and then you can use that. So just walk it through in your mind, like what would happen if I was traveling? What would happen if I didn't have my laptop? And try and find the best solutions for you. But doing this periodically means that you're not stressed out if you get locked out. Okay, so, some Brata. Brata, for the non-Jamaicans, it's just bonus, a little something extra. So Brata, save what matters most. If you're like me and you don't go on social media that much, or maybe you haven't been on your social media account in years, keep in mind, it is not your social media website. You don't own it. It could disappear. And if it were to disappear, ask yourself, what would I want? Would I want screenshots or copies of like a funny DM that me and my homie had? Would I want photos of me and my uncle that I, for whatever reason, didn't save anyplace else? Memories, quotes, like there are a bunch of posts that I've saved on Facebook, mostly workout posts, but sometimes like some interesting quotes or funny quotes. Things that you like don't really think about, but imagine if you didn't have access at all. And if you think like, nah, that's not going to happen. If you've ever had a MySpace account or you use Tumblr, you know, those things apps aren't like forever. There was Vine, right? Periscope. Like there are a bunch of apps and websites that were really hot, and for whatever reason, they're not hot anymore, or they are hot, but you just don't go on. But think about if you could not access those things at all. So take some time and save those photos and memories, take screenshots, contacts. Like you may have some friends that for whatever reason you can only contact them on Facebook. Maybe you made some online buddies, but you always DM on Facebook Messenger. Now is the time to be like, hey, maybe we should email or WhatsApp or Zoom. Whatever, think snail mail, let's be pen pals, but think of like a backup. Okay, So I think that's about it. Oh, the other option is to deactivate or delete your account. If you're absolutely never going to use your Yahoo again, if you're absolutely not going to use Facebook, an option is to deactivate and delete it so you won't have a future headache. Because remember, your information might still be there, whether it's payment information or your personal information. So if you're really not going to use it, just deactivate it or delete it. It is an option. But again, save anything that might be important to you. All right, so I'm hoping this will help you be happy. Airplane. We almost made it, y'all, through the whole video. I'm hoping this will help you have a happy, healthy, be happy, healthy, and cyber secure. Woo, woo. This will always be Jody Taylor of snackysays.com. I hope this is helpful. If you have more tips on how to be more secure, whether it's social media, anything with cybersecurity, social media or websites, please DM me. Add your tips in the comments. Again, this is not exhaustive. This is just stuff that I've come across recently and heard about recently. Okay, thank you once again, Jody Taylor of snackysays.com.